Children all over the world represent the wealth and the resource of every nation. But there will be a resource only if they are educated. Without education, the children, rather than be a resource, will become a burden on society. It is for this reason that I also use this opportunity to draw the attention of the Senate and the nation to the challenges being faced by our children in the northeast zone of the country. And may I use this opportunity, Mr. President, distinguished colleagues, to appeal to Boko Haram to make this day whole for us as a nation, to make this day whole for us as humanity by releasing our children in their captivity.
Welcome back. Well, yes, so many issues surrounding the missing Chibok girls we'll be focusing on this morning. And Ben Olu-Adegboruwa joins us now. He's a legal practitioner. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Yeah, but you got this unique perspective. I mean, we spoke about the activities of some of these local governments in our opening sequence, and you've experienced any of such things yourself?
Yes, I was glad that Channels Television has highlighted this monstrous behavior and greed of the state governments and indeed the local government in unleashing terrorists, bandits, and hoodlums on motorists. Several times I've been a victim, especially when you are going from Ekpe to Jebode. There are about 3 different checkpoints where thugs wielding sticks, machetes, and nails just practically drag you off the road and impose some fees on you that if you don't pay, you are not moving anywhere. And it gets to an alarming stage at which your life is even at danger, because if you refuse to pay, they harm you. And at times, they even go to the extent of wanting to loot your vehicle if you have any valuables in you. And it's not once, not twice. Virtually, it's become a yearly thing, because that's the road I take to my hometown. If I need to go to Ondo State, I stay in Lekki, so it's easier for me to go through Ekpe and then get to Jebode, and from there get to Ondo State. So every time, every occasion.
What do they ask for?
Well, they ask for waste basket. You pay for waste basket.
Oh, dear.
You pay for local government permit. You pay for road license. You pay for all manner of fees, amounting to about 55,000. And you dare not, if you don't have the money, you are not moving anywhere. They ground your vehicle. They drag you to Jebode and lock you up somewhere, and then hold you ransom. So you start to negotiate with them. That's where I got to know that these things are not some legal payment. You start to negotiate with them, And there was a particular time after I had paid, having negotiated, I was stopped at this following checkpoint again. And I said, look at the receipts. I've paid, I've negotiated. He said, no, that they didn't give me waste basket. That I should have collected the waste bucket and hung it in my van. And for not doing that, I have to wait and renegotiate with the second checkpoint. And when the pain is that when it carries the insignia of a government, the receipts bear some local government, the receipts bear Ogun State government. You wonder when government open its eyes and allow its own citizens to become victims, because there's no difference between these people translating from bandits to armed robbers, because there is no check, there is no armed personnel. And in the times when I've been stopped, once it's a military vehicle, they quickly clear themselves. And so, which means that I know that they're doing these things to ordinary armless civilians. Because when I see military people come with their vehicle, they brush them off the road and go their way, and they don't stop them. So it's illegal. And it's unfortunate. And I think the governor should. Most governments are guilty of this. Most state governments are guilty. It's not just in Edo State. It's not just in Anambra State. It's happening in Ogun State. It's happening right here in Lagos State. And I think it's something that the governors should look into. We shouldn't be having this in a democratic society.
And I think anyone who has experienced this kind of thing should actually just speak up. You could take any of the images of some of this. At a distance, be careful with some of those lads so you don't get yourself or put yourself in harm's way. And it's a democratic dispensation. We try to tell people so these kind of things should not be happening in society. And is there any chance that the state governments are actually aware or don't know that this is going on?
No, what happened from my experience, because on one occasion, after I had negotiated, the leader came and said, I know you, Mr. Adegboruwa, you are here. I said, well, I've already paid, so whether you know me or not, I've been extorted. So he then tried to engage me. He had his daughter who actually wanted to do attachment in a law firm. And so we got talking. So we built a personal relationship. And he told me everything that is happening. That it's a contract for him. He was engaged by the government to come and do this. So as much money he can raise, there's a sharing ratio between himself and the Ogun State government. So there's no governor who can tell you that he doesn't know about those things. It's this drive about revenue. And what pains me is that I've been on that road now for close to 10 years. There's no difference in terms of the damage on the road. The road is not motorable, potholes are still there. So I'm wondering that I don't even mind paying the money, but that the money is not going to any use. Because the purpose of paying the money is probably, I expect, is to repair the road and make it more motorable. But the road is as worse as it could be, especially from the Ogun State end, because Lagos State government has done its own portion of the road. So I think that it's not correct for any governor to feign ignorance. It's a contract between them and these hoodlums, and they have a sharing ratio, because that I got to know from my interaction with them.
That means we'll keep asking those questions until the governors in question here call those people to order. That's clear extortion, as you have put it. But getting back to this, trying to locate the missing girls, the person in the CDS spoke about them knowing where the girls are, but they can't storm the place because you will jeopardize the lives of those girls. There have been some people who are now wondering, that question of, should we negotiate with terrorists? Should we enter into this swap deal? What should we do about them? Because parents of these girls, you can't tell them flatly that the government will not negotiate. And so what do you think of this one?
Well, we have gotten to a stage in Nigeria where information coming from government agencies, and especially in respect of this Chibok abductions, it's become difficult to swallow. We've been told by very high military quarters that Shekau had been killed before. We were told that 100...
And they still maintain that he has been killed.
Oh, well, I'm telling you, Mapwe, I mean, the man is in a video and he's doing things. And if he says, I will do this tomorrow, he will do it. We've been told that initially 100 people, or 100 out of these girls were rescued. Later on, the military denied and said they were sorry, it was an error. So if the CDS comes to tell me that they have located the spot where these innocent girls are being kept, I'm wary of whether to believe or to just think that it's just an attempt to buy some form of reputation by the military. I think that we have gotten to a stage in Nigeria where we must accept that we do not have the capacity to engage insurgents.
But
we do not have the capacity to engage terrorists. And so we cannot be grandstanding and behaving like Americans or France, who have the intelligence, who have the know-how. So I do not think it's correct for Nigeria to accept any military advice from Western countries who have sufficient data and equipment to engage terrorists. We are not in that position.
Well, you know,
I mean, just look at last night, Maupe. I mean, these people moved in convoy. Boko Haram moving in APC in a state where there's a state of emergency. So which means that our military do not have the capacity to engage the terrorists. So we cannot be in a position to be making a case that we can negotiate. It's only a strong man who has capacity to run through this kind of insurgency that will maintain that I will not negotiate. We are on the ground in terms of our military capacity. And we should not put the lives of just one girl, how much less over 100 people, at stake. Among those people may be a president of this country.